Rosie's on the homeowner's best friend.
Knowing what you're growing is an important piece of the puzzle. You know, not only as it sprouts that you recognize that there's a difference between the weed seeds and the other seeds and what's growing, but also making sure that your source is good. Because many people fail with seeds because their seeds actually were not viable to start with. And one of the ways that you can kind of indicate that is when you're going to a store to get some seeds. So if you're going to a box store place that you're going to, make sure that you're finding a store that's selling seeds that are actually stored indoors. Now, if they're stored outdoors, if they're an outdoor display and they're not really temperature controlled, I mean, a cold area is the best place to store seeds. I've got a fridge in my garage that's dedicated just to seeds. It's loaded full. Top to bottom, it's full of seeds. And that is because that's the best way to preserve seeds, is in a cold environment. Keep them chill, keep them cold. Now, if you put them in a hot environment, they're going to reduce their effectiveness every year. As any time it's above like 60 degrees for a seed, you're losing some of the life of that seed. It's going to start hyper drying out. Ideal moisture for most seeds is about 13% moisture inside the seed. Now, our regular moisture content of our regular air out here can get, way below that, and it can dehydrate the seed. If the germ inside the seed, if the moisture inside that it's gone, it dies. It will not sprout back. And so there is definitely an important piece of that puzzle is making sure that they're stored in a good place, a healthy spot, and that they're not too old. So that's another piece of the puzzle. For every year, there's a lower percentage of the seeds are going to germinate. And so you're going to need to use more and more of the seeds in order to get a single plant, in order to catch your efficiency. So one way to test that is to get your seeds. Let's say you've already got a set of seeds somewhere in your house. You've been storing it, but maybe it's been out in the garage for a while. And that garage has gotten 120 degrees this last summer, and you're not sure if these seeds are good or not. Well, what I recommend is just soak the seeds for about an hour, one type, a few of the seeds, maybe about 10 or so of the seeds, and then soak them for about an hour, and then put them into a damp napkin or paper towel, and then put them in a little plastic bag. This is one of the things you did when you were a kid, learning how seeds sprout. And you kind of put them between that napkin in that little plastic bag, keep it a little bit open, and just set it on the counter. Within a couple days, they should start to sprout. Now, the amount of those that sprout is going to be based on the viability of that seed packet now. And so if you've only got 3 out of 10 seeds that are sprouting, you've got a 30% effectiveness on those seeds. And so you're going to have to plant, at least 3 seeds, if not 4 seeds, just to make sure you get one plant that's going to likely grow for you. So does that mean all the seeds are bad? No, it means it's 30% good. And so that's how we look at it. Most of the time, a seed packet or a package of seeds is going to have a certain percentage are good and a certain percentage are not good. They're not going to work. And so you just need to know the percentage, make sure you're planting sufficient that you're going to get at least one high percentage chance. A good packet of seeds is going to be in the high 90s of its viability. So pretty much all of them are going to sprout for you. And a good package of seeds is usually a year, maybe 2 years old at max. And that's what you're looking for. And so another thing in terms of a trusted seed source for those healthy starts is there a date on my package of seeds? And most of them, especially the best companies for growing seeds, the most trusted sources are going to have a date and the date of viability. And sometimes it's just the date when they were packaged, or it's a date of when it's still viable, according to them. And so it's really important to look on the back of those packages of seeds, see if it's got a date, number one, and to make sure it's within a year. It's like you're close. And then make sure you're storing them in a good spot, and that you're buying them from a source that also has them stored in a good spot. Another thing is, if you're buying seeds right now online, it's actually a pretty good time to buy them. I like doing them in the wintertime most, because I know if they're traveling to me, they're traveling cold. I do not order any seeds during the summer months, because the high likelihood is that they're going to be traveling hot to my house, and I'm going to be losing some viability no matter how young the seeds are.
And there's a lot of things that applies to on the hot transportation. I mean, when you're ordering chickens,
yep.
Certain even building materials, that they're plastics and PEX piping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They
come all warped and stuff. It's like, I probably should order it during it. So you got to pay attention to temperature when you're ordering seeds, anything that you're ordering in the mail. And you can get plants in the mail now too. I mean, they'll send you live plants. And so now is also a good time to be getting things. Cooler season, better time to order online.
Now, from my notes, some of the places you like to order Johnny seeds.
Johnny Seeds, that's a good one. I mean, that's one of our staples, especially for bigger farm products, because you can get bulk quantities. If you got a bigger garden, you want bigger quantities, Johnny's one of our favorites.
Then there's also Native Seed.
Native Seed Search, they're right here, Arizona-based. A lot of good stuff that's going to be native adapted to here. Also a good key to having healthy starts is getting them that are grown here rather than someplace else.
And then Sweet Corn Organics.
Sweet Corn Organics, also very similar climate to our valley here in a lot of Arizona. And so it's a much more local source type stuff. These things have been tried, tested, proven, and they're one of my favorite sources, especially for local and some more organic options and some unique things. They got some great unique stuff at Sweet Corn Organics.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.